Hello guys, after we get deep marketing about next characters, namely Yaoguang and Sparxie, now we finally get the new information about their kits and how they works. So obviously on this video we will discuss in detail about their latest kit, especially Yaoguang. As I mentioned earlier, Yaoguang has a physical type with an elation path, which is the latest playable path in the game. Based on the kit, Yaoguang will be one of the important supports for Elation DPS in the future, one of which is Sparxie, which appears in version 4.0. Will Yaoguang be the key support for the Elation team in version 4.0? So without further ado, I'm Hoyostation and we will jump straight into the full kit discussion of Yaoguang version 4.0. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here's a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and honkaistarrail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the last than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Okay, before we go deeper into her kit, we will talk a little bit about the mechanics of Elation character. Elation characters can generally give special stacks called punchlines. This stack will be used at the time of AHA getting a turn. AHA is a special mechanism for the Elation team. You can see this mechanism in the action bar on the left with the icon in red. The more stack punchlines the team has when AHA is in action, the damage from the Elation skill, which is a special skill for Elation character in the team, will also be greater. Every time AHA gets its action, it will trigger a special effect called AHA Instant. If the character is an Elation path, then the character will perform the Elation skill one time. And if the character is a character with another path, then AHA will use Let There Be Lower. Then after that, all participating teammates will get a status called Certified Banger for the punchline points that are calculated at this point. And this status lasts for 2 turns. For additional info, Certified Banger has different effects for each Elation character, which is explained through the talents of each character, such as for example the talents of Yaoguang and Sparxie. In this section, we will discuss a little about her basic attack called Whistlebolt Sings Joy. For additional info, this basic attack has the same type as the basic attack from Tribi, which is a blast type. This basic attack will give physical damage of 90% of Yaoguang's attack to one enemy and a 30% of Yaoguang's attack to 2 surrounding enemies. Uniquely, this basic attack can recover a considerable amount of energy, which is 30 points. This amount is even greater than the basic attack that Tribi has, which only gives 20 points. Next, we will enter the skill section first. This skill, called Light Unveils All, is a support skill that will create zones for 3 turns. The zone can increase the elation stats of all teammates by 15% of Yaoguang's elation. A little explanation regarding elation status. Elation status is a special status that only characters with elation paths have. This status is similar to the break effect used by the super break team. The greater the break effect, the greater the super break damage produced. However, unlike break effect, elation status cannot be obtained through relics. This status can only be obtained through the trace of each elation character. This has shown that Yaoguang's role in the team is a support and buffer to Elation DPS, which will automatically have a crucial role in the future. Oh yeah, Yaoguang will also get 3 punchlines. For information, this skill will also recover 3 points, just like the basic attack. So you can only perform this skill when the zone is gone and make herself a skill point generator. But if you do need more punchlines and have excess skill points, then using this skill is also not a problem. Next, we move on to the interesting part, which is her ultimate, Hexagram of Feathered Fortune. This ultimate will give 5 punchlines, as well as 1 additional turn to AHA with an exact number of 20 punchlines. This turn will not consume punchlines and will increase all type resistant penetration by 20% to all teammates for 3 turns. Well, this ultimate has a very good effect, especially if you use a lot of Elation characters in the team. This ultimate can make AHA get an extra turn without interfering with the action order of the AHA itself, which will automatically make the Elation character in the team perform the Elation skill. This effect is certainly very good if we use another Elation character like Sparxie, who will be one of her best partners in the team right now. In addition, this ultimate also has an awesome buff, which will increase all type resistant penetration to all allies that can be used by all types of attacks in this game. Furthermore, for her talent, behold wherever light unfolds. When Yao Guang has a certified banger, the teammate's target will trigger the Great Boon effect after attacking, which will give an additional elation damage according to their type of 24% to one random enemy. For every 1 skill point consumed by this attack, it will trigger an additional Great Boon effect 1 time, up to a maximum of 3 times. Then when the Great Boon was triggered by an attacker who had a lower elation than Yao Guang, then the percentage used was Yao Guang's. The essence of the talent is that each teammate can unleash a Great Boon that can give an additional elation damage to the enemy after Yao Guang gets certified banger from AHA. And this effect will be even more deadly, depending on the total damage that the allies makes. Conversely, if a teammate has an elation lower than Yao Guang, then the percentage will be calculated from the number of elations that Yao Guang has. This is certainly very useful, guys, when teammates who are not damage dealers, such as healers or supports, launch attacks, can still contribute noticeable damage because Yao Guang will have a really high elation. Now we will move on to her technique, Untethered Glimmer Sails 4, which can trigger Yao Guang's skill at the beginning of the battle without consuming skill points at all. Then when Yao Guang is in the team and destroys the object, it will give the red envelope up to 8 times every week. This effect is quite useful, especially at the beginning of the battle where Yao Guang doesn't have to use her skill first, so you can use skill points for other characters who need it more. Then for the red envelope effect itself, it's not explained what it will give, but it's quite useful if it gives additional materials even if it's random things. As I discussed at the beginning of the video, the Elation character has an additional skill in the form of an Elation skill that can be activated when AHA gets the action. So the effect of her ultimate that can make the AHA take action will automatically make Yao Guang also launch her Elation skill. Her Elation skill is called Let Thy Fortune Burst in Flames, will give the Wolf's Whisper debuff to all enemies for 3 turns. Enemies that have this debuff will receive 10% more damage. In addition, this attack will also deal physical elation damage of 80% to all enemies, plus 5 attacks to random enemies that deal physical elation damage of 20%. The way this skill is activated is quite different from the normal skill, where we can't activate the Elation skill manually, but every time AHA gets an action. Based on this kit, Yao Guang will definitely play a big role of Elation team in the future, right? Next we go to the traces section. For the minor trace, Yao Guang has an additional stat in the form of critical rate of 18.7%, speed of 9 points, and elation of 10%. Well, we get one stat that is quite strange, which is elation. This stat is a new stat that only the Elation character has, and almost all the damage output of the kit will depend on this stat. Her first trace is called Amaze in Grace. If Yao Guang has a speed of 120 points or more, it will increase her elation by 30%. Then for every 1 point of excess speed, it will increase 1% of her elation to a maximum of 200 points of excess speed. If we do a little calculation, Yao Guang can get a total of 203% elation from this trace if she has at least 320 speed points. Of course, this number is impossible to achieve under normal combat conditions, unless we use it in certain modes such as the Divergent Universe or Currency Wars. But if we have 170 speed points, which can be achieved if we have the relic set and her signature line cone, then Yao Guang will get an additional 50% elation, which is enough for her who has a support role in the team. For her second trace, Poised and Sated, it will give a 60% increase in critical damage. Then the other effect will recover 1 skill point every time you cast an Elation skill. Although the effect of this second trace is quite simple, the impact given is quite influential either for rotation or her own damage output. The skill points given will be very helpful due to the effect of the Great Boon, which requires us to use additional skill points to trigger this additional Elation damage effect. Then for the third trace, called Felicity Ensemble, it will increase the duration of the certified banger by 1/3 every time she gets this status. Well, this effect is quite useful, so that she can make her teammates trigger the Great Boon more often, especially Sparxie, who is expected to have a very high skill points usage mechanism. Finally, we get to the final part of her kit, which is the EIDOLON part. For the first EIDOLON, Chuckle Chimes where Jade falls, it will increase the amount of punchlines obtained through her ultimate into 30 punchlines, and increase the damage of the Elation skill to 140% of the original damage. Of course, the effect of this EIDOLON is good and worth it if you want to increase her personal damage. In addition to increasing the number of punchlines, the damage of the Elation skill will increase by 40%, which will automatically give an increase in damage and have a permanent duration, guys. For the second EIDOLON, Blind Arrows Guided by Feather, it will increase the speed of all teammates by 12% and Elation by 16% when the zone of the skill is active. Unlike the first EIDOLON, the effects of the second EIDOLON are more focused on teammates, which will automatically increase the rotation and damage produced. Keep in mind that the zone will continue to be active during the battle, so the effect of this EIDOLON is almost permanent. Really cool, right? Then for the fourth EIDOLON, Threats of Fate Guarded by Plums, the teammate's Elation damage will ignore 18% of the enemy's defense. Again, a permanent effect that is useful for teammates, where the more Elation damage from teammates, the stronger the effect of this EIDOLON. For the final EIDOLON, Ferret Along the Astral Arc, make merry makes of all teammates' Elation damage by 20%. The damage multiplier of the skill will also increase by 60% from the original multiplier. Well, merrymaking itself is a special effect of Elation damage that will increase the Elation damage produced. The essence of this EIDOLON is to increase the buff of her skill, as well as to increase Elation damage again, which will automatically make the team with the Elation DPS even stronger. And now we come to the end of this video, especially if it wasn't for her signature light cone, called When She Decided to See. This light cone gives a speed of 18% to the user. In addition, every time a user enters a battle or uses the ultimate on a teammate, the user will gain a Great Fortune for 3 turns. When the user has Great Fortune, all teammates will get an increase in critical rate of 10%, critical damage of 30%, and energy regeneration rate of 12%. Well, the effect of this light cone is very good, whether it's for Yao Guang or her teammates, where the addition of speed will be very useful to reach certain speed points as in her trace, and the Great Fortune effect will be very useful to increase damage as well as the consistency of casting the ultimate of all teammates. In my personal opinion, this light cone is worth it for those of you who plan to use the Elation team in the upcoming meta. Okay guys, maybe that's all for now. What do you think about Yao Guang? Please leave any comments down below and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are no less cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.